Well, we're all welcome on this lovely night, the 26th of January 2012. And thank all the new people for coming. You're all very welcome. What we're doing here is meditation. Just coming to stillness, and stilling the mind. And for the benefit of our new friends, I think I will talk just a little while in opening our meditation practice. Many of us come to meditation for benefit or to get something, and I suppose that is alright from the viewpoint of starting out, but it usually ends up negating or losing something, and that is losing all the stress, the anguish, the anxieties and the crises in our day-to-day living. And in order to meditate properly, first we need to have our house in order. Because if your house is not in order, then the mind cannot come to stillness. There's always that irritation behind the mind, egging you back to your issue, to your problem. And when you look at your life, and to see immediately where your house is not in order, all you need to do is to look at your most immediate disturbance. What is disturbing in your life? What is causing me anxiety? What is causing me not being able to be still? And looking at this issue, whatever it is where you and I are not being true to the situation, whatever the situation is in your life. Because there is only one truth, and it's not a truth according to something. It's not a truth according to a belief, a moral code. The only truth there is in your life right now, in you. And wherever you are not being true to life, in the situation, there is a disturbance. And that disturbance is truth speaking directly to you, in your life, right now. It is as simple as that. But being simple, yet it's not easy, because we have what you call the personal self. And understanding what the personal self is made up of, you just have to look for a moment at the newborn baby, the infant, just wrapped in clothes for the first time, and you see the beauty in the infant, you see the clarity, you see the pure space. It draws you to it. And what's actually drawing you is a reflection of your own inner beauty, your original state, that you have lost sight of along the way. And along the way is this journey of the personal self. When I'm 2 months old, 3 months old, I commence my reflection on the objective world I see around me. I learn how to cry to get attention, and so it goes on. And my world, myself, wherever I'm born, whatever circumstances I come into, develop around me. And in a very short time I become this self. This self is separate or apart. It's always separate or apart. And this is our first issue. We separate ourselves from the truth, the beauty, and the immediacy of what you are. Now this is the normal phenomenon of the world. It's normal, but it's not natural. It's not our natural state. This we always know in our true nature. Whenever there is a time in our lives when we come to stillness within, and that stillness might be brought about by a sudden surge of energy or something traumatic happening to us, a life and death situation. But it can also be brought about by what we're doing here tonight, meditation, just bringing the mind to stillness. But we first have to understand the nature of the self, the personal self, who I think I am. I have my beliefs, I have my agendas, I have my schedules, I have all the things I'm doing, and I'm totally absorbed in all of these issues. In the greater picture, they're only a passing bubble. They're nothing of significance. So whatever the problem is in your life, it is nothing of significance. No matter how great it seems to be, no matter how awful it seems to be, it's nothing of significance. I might be dying of cancer, only a week or so to live. Where is the problem? I am life in this body. Where is the problem in my true nature? The problem is in my personal self, who I think I am. My God, I can't go on, I won't be here anymore. What will I do? What will my family do? This is the personal self. The personal self has no continuity. It's a mantle we accumulate and build around ourselves, and we take it on board as our identity, or our truth, or who we think we are. And in meditation is a dismantling of this self, coming to stillness. Because you cannot come to stillness and truth without the dismantling of the self, without coming into that space behind the projection of the brain that's projecting this personal self every moment of the day in your waking state, that's causing you all these troubles and all these anxieties. And when we talk about stillness, the stillness of no mind activity, like it's describing it in words, we can do that, but we mustn't forget the description is not the described. The description is something else that you can only meet in your own direct being. All I can do as an external source to the self is reflect to you the stillness behind the mind. We talk of cosmic consciousness, and we've worked through that in our meditation groups here for some weeks, and still it's just a word, it's a symbol, symbolizing something else. It's not the described. It's only the word describing it, giving us an intonation of how we can get up to that speed of consciousness behind the mind that is immediate in your being now. Our living is in the past. Everything that happens through the human mind is past. To put it another way, you are in the immediacy of now, life in your body. The mind thinks and formulates all of its opinions, all of its ideas about life from memory. All memory is past. In the immediacy of your true nature, there is no past. But you cannot get here. There is no way the self can enter this space, because the self is past, always past. And this is what meditation is all about, is bringing the mind to stillness, to realign your true nature to your outer projection. And when this happens in your experience, in your space, then all fear dies. Everything in relation to the projected fades away. And now you are living consciously. You are applying this conscious state to every moment of your living life. Problems fall away. Why? Only because you are now being more responsible. You are being more responsible for you. You are being true to the situation. You are seeing and understanding a disturbance in your life as you not being true to the situation. That is the only reason the disturbance is there. The mind will tell you it's someone else, it's something else, it's some external circumstance. This is not the truth. This is never the truth. The disturbance in your life is where you are not facing the truth of the situation in front of you right now. You are the only one, no one else. We speak of the one I in the creation, in all of this. There is only one I, and that's the I you address as your true self, as yourself, your I. And we say, where is there life? And life is in you, only in you in the first instance. There is no life outside of you in the first instance. Only reflections of life that is you in your body right now. When we see this by looking at it, not by trying to remember it, but just to see it directly by looking at it, then we are moving into the stillness of now. And in this stillness, it is phenomenally fast. The consciousness is phenomenally fast. So fast it is still. This is what we're talking about in cosmic consciousness. Again, reminding you and me, the speaker, that words are only symbols reflecting the truth of what we are doing and approaching here tonight, as we do every night in our meditation. Is that clear? This is coming back to your true nature, the truth of your being, who and what you are, before the human brain projects this physical form. Know that all matter is limited energy. All matter is limited energy. It's energy with a limitation. The physical body is limited energy. It's energy with a limitation. This physical body is the first body arising in your consciousness now. The first body where you are life, in that physical body. Nowhere else. You cannot be anywhere else, only in that body. This physical body is your energetic limitation of life as it projects through the brain, your brain. The brain being the projector, projecting this body. We are moving into the consciousness behind the brain, behind the projector. And in doing this, this is putting first things first, what is most important in our lives. The mind can't hear this, the mind can't receive this. The mind has something to think about, the mind has something to work out, the mind has somewhere else to take you, until that final moment when you're facing physical death and the mind has nowhere else to go. Then, if you're still in conscious state, the realization hits you that I am this body, I am this life, in this body, nowhere else. And now it passes out. So at the moment of physical death, this realization hits if the brain is in a conscious state. What we are doing is coming into this space now. for those of us willing to wake up from the projected illusion of the mind, clinging to its yesterdays. Here we are letting go of the past. And talking about past, in order to move into this space, we have to consciously and intelligently know that talking past or talking about the past is a waste of energy. Why talk about the past? Why carry the past with you? Why be so unintelligent? Anytime you are talking about the past, telling your story, carrying your story, your happy story or your sad, sad story, you're carrying past. Anytime you're expressing the pain from past, that somebody hurt you, did something wrong to you, you are carrying this prisoner, you are doing it, you are carrying this past. Not the person or the persons who damaged you in the past. That's gone. You are carrying it now. So you have to allow your intelligence to wake up to this point of seeing it as it is. And stop carrying your prisoners. Just let them go. This is the consciousness we're talking about here. Your true cosmic nature. Behind this projected brain, that's projecting all of its worries, its woes, its consternations, its competitions, its measurements. We are moving behind all of that. Going back into the immediacy, the absolute immediacy of now. We talked about the light from the sun, scientifically taking 8 minutes to get to the earth. That speed of light is very slow in comparison to the light of consciousness we're talking about now. The light of consciousness is immediate. Your light behind the projecting brain is immediate. To put it another way, you are spirit going through this human experience. But you have forgotten that. You're attached to this personal self that looks upon itself as the body, and it gives it a soul, seeing it the other way around. Completely false. No truth whatsoever. You're a spiritual being, inner spiritual being, and it's this light of consciousness behind you that is your truth. You're going through this body experience. And when you're looking into the past, in relation to letting go of the past, you can look at the past in huge chunks. If you say right now, in this 21st century there are 12 years, this is the 12th year, and just look at it in your life. Just look across it right now, just in one split second, just see it, without moving on it, putting no judgment on it, no fix on it, just looking at it, just seeing the journey, seeing the story in the past 12 years. Just seeing all of it in one flash. So immediate. There it is. Go back to the 90s. Just see it. Just see it. Don't move on it. Don't judge it. Just see it by looking. Just stay looking. Go back to the 80s. Go back to your childhood. Just see it. Just see your childhood as it is now. See all of it. It's all there right in front of you, immediately now. You don't move on it, you don't judge it, put no finger on it, you bring nothing from it. You just see it by looking from stillness. And this looking awakens you to your true nature. This looking is a looking of the prophet that not only sees the past, but sees the future. Because the future is only a projection of past. The future, your future in front of you is already past. It's all coming through the human mind. It's already projected, it's already done, and you are here right now in the course of doing it. This is the speed of consciousness we're talking about cosmically, that the human mind is not aware of or has no access to, only through the stillness of mind. Only what's behind the mind can see this. That's what we're talking about here. What you're worrying about now is totally irrelevant, because you worried 20 years ago. You don't even know what that is. In 20 years' time, if you're still in these bodies, you'll be worrying about something else if you haven't broken your attachment, if you haven't woken up. And according to your lights, the clearer it becomes by letting go of the past and coming into now. And in this now, we participate in our meditation, bringing us to the stillness of our being, into that space or that ground behind mind, where, for the want of a word, you always are, bringing you to the realization of your immortality that all the prophets spoke of, all the sages, all the wise persons from all of the religions. It all came true in different ways, and we hear it according to our lights. And our lights shine according to the level of our blockage, the mantle we put around ourselves. This mantle is false. This mantle is not your true nature. The soul you give yourself is not a soul. It's an idea. It's a projection, an illusion. You are spirit, true spirit behind all of this. And that's where we're going tonight. So sitting upright in the chairs, this is keeping the body erect, because what we're doing here is we're bringing the mind and the body into one location. That's the first part of our exercise. The first part of exercise in every form of meditation is bringing the mind and body into the one location. The location is always where the body is. It's never anywhere else. So bringing the mind to rest into the body. From there we will be going behind the body into the subtle body before, and that's the formless part before the body projects into form. And we will just experience according to our lights. And for all of us present, so we're coming to stillness, sitting upright, keeping the back straight, simply because the head, the weightiest part of the body, rests peacefully on an erect spine. If the spine is not straight, then there is pressure and it creates tension on the shoulders. Just keeping the head on the spine straight and closing the eyes. Just closing the eyes, we're drawing in through our senses, bringing the mind directly into the body, into the conscious state of the body. And in doing this, we put our attention upon the sensation of life in the body. And we first start with the sensation of life in our countenance, in the face, on the cheeks, the flesh of the cheeks. Just becoming conscious of the sensation, just keeping the mind at rest. On the lips, just a sensation, a tingling in the lips. And the ears, and behind the ears. Staying with the sensation, that's the tingling feeling of life in the body. And in the tongue, in the mouth, and going down the throat, just be conscious of the sensation inside and outside the throat. Just holding the stillness. You spread out on the shoulders. coming out to the chest. And just the expansiveness inside the rib cage. Just being conscious of the sensation. Then moving around the rib cage, on the shoulders, and here there is tension. And just letting this tension go, letting it drop down slowly to the stomach. The stomach absorbs all the excess tensions, transforms the energy. Just letting the excess tension go. So you move down the back to the lower back, feeling the stomach and the buttocks, feeling the sensation. Sensation in the legs, the feet, the toes, keeping the toes open, feeling the air, the space between the toes, on the arms, hands, fingers, sensation between the fingers. Just resting with the sensation of the entire body. Just coming into stillness. The solar plexus, just above the navel. Staying with the stillness. Just the sensation. Being conscious of the air going in and out of the body. This is life, your life. In the first instance, this is your temple, temple of all life. Temple of God that you are. You are now entering the sacredness of this one temple. In stillness. If a disturbance arises, just let it fall to the stomach. The stomach is the great psychic furnace behind the physical stomach. Purifying all disturbance. Just let it fall. Stay with the stillness. This is your truth, your true nature. Know that all things externally pass away. All things move on. There is no issue, no problem now. From this stillness, the circumstances of your life changes. For the better.
We are now entering meditation for 25 minutes.
And keeping our stillness in the sensation in the body, becoming aware of our senses, as we gently come out to our projected worlds from this place of stillness behind the body, behind the projecting brain. And we open our eyes and come into the world of external awareness. Knowing that everything is all right now. No problems, no issues. Everything is all right now. And in this external world, knowing that old things pass away. But that you are behind the brain is your true nature, the immortality of your being, what doesn't pass away. Externally, all things pass away. So what is love? Do we really know what is love? Myself thinks it does. The self always thinks it does. But it always seems to objectify love. It's looking out at someone or something and saying, I love you, I love that, I love what I've got. Is that love? So the self, by its very nature, misses the quality of love. As the body sits here on the chair, its first direct relationship externally is the air it's breathing. The air that's one with the body. There is no distance between the body and the air it is breathing. This is love. Where all things act naturally. The persona, the personal self, goes out after its projections in its projected world and falls in love, wants love. We have all the love songs, all the broken hearts. And that's the beauty of life. It's the wonder of life. Smashing our projections, smashing our illusions. They need to be smashed. Otherwise, we don't wake up, do we? You notice you cannot love externally. It's always changing. So what is love? Is there a difference between life and love? We're not asking for an answer, we're just looking at it. Is there a difference between truth and love? Are they all one and the same? Is there a difference between death and love? My child dies, my loved one dies. Is there a difference between death and love? Is there a difference between death and life? Just looking at it, without moving, just looking at it from the purity of your being, it's all one and the same. There is no difference. From the purity of your being, it is same. So when asked about God, all of it is God. None of it is not God. Otherwise God is not God. Myself in my world doesn't see it that way. It fragments its space going out of myself is in fragmentation. I am here in my mantle, who I think I am. You are there in your mantle, who you think you are. And there is separation. And in this separation there is anguish, there is pain, there is continuous torment beneath the greatest pleasures. The torment is still there, because the knowing in the self is there that this doesn't last. You make love, most beautiful love, and almost immediately after making love, you sense the sadness. So what is this torment? Torment is, the truth is not in the illusion, it's not in the projection. The truth is behind the projecting brain. The truth of your being, the purity of your true nature. It's not myself. Myself has nowhere to go. You say to your lover, I love you, and you hear it, if you're listening, you hear the falseness of it in your words. It doesn't reflect it. No word reflects love. The mother feels the pain in her love for the child. One of the greatest bonds of love we have in existence. The child will inevitably break the mother's heart. This is just the nature of things. When we don't see it as it is. Firstly, I am life. Not just I the speaker. I the speaker is a reflection of the I in you, the only I there is, in all time, in all projection, in all existence. There is no other I. And the question arises, who am I? And looking at this in the immediacy of now, not through my mind is past. Looking at this, putting nothing upon it, I am life. I am this one life. I in that body, listening to these words. I am life. I am truth. I am the way, the life, and the truth. This is the immediacy of your true nature now. And in this immediacy, love is. Love is. It is not objectified. It's nothing outside of me, while also it is everything outside of me as it is inside of me. Love is. I am love. I am life. I am truth. Not just I the speaker, but I in that body, listening. This is just a reflection externally of the I that you truly are. This I is your immortal being. This I, there is no past. This is your timelessness. Myself, who I think I am, my troubles, my consternations, my attachments, and life in its purity and in its wonder is forever smashing my attachments, smashing, crashing. Myself says how awful it is, how terrible it is. How could a God let that happen? This is myself. Whereas life in its purity is forever smashing my illusions, bringing me home to my true nature, the truth of who and what I, in that body, am. This is your ground. This is your true nature. This is your coming home. Forever you're coming home. And behind all of this projection, you are home. You are home now. From this immediacy, it's already done. All is done. We are here in the doing of what is done, in the immediacy of now. All time, as we know it, looking out, is past. All time. The future we perceive is a projection of the past. The present we struggle to live in is the reformulation of past. The projection, regurgitating into a projected future. It will be all right tomorrow. I will fix it tomorrow. It will never be all right tomorrow. It can only be all right now. But I'm losing my house. I'm losing my children. It's all right now. Everything is all right now. Myself wants another day. Myself wants more space. Myself wants more fragmentation. Myself can never see the wholeness and the oneness of now, for everything is all right now. And if you look into the problems of your life, honestly looking at your most immediate problem, know that it's life, the wonder, the beauty of life, speaking directly to you now. We have established that life and God and truth and death and love are one and the same. This is always speaking to you directly now, always now. If you look out into time, just look out the projector and look out into something 10 or 15 years ago. Look at some consternation in your life when you were a little girl or a young boy or whatever. Look at some insurmountable problem 10 or 15 years ago, when you were smashed. You were totally smashed. And now you're looking across life at the journey and seeing the goodness of that smashing. You see the benefit to you in your wakefulness in that smashing. My problem is where I'm not getting my own way, where I cannot accept my life as it is, where I want to fix it, I want to project myself. And life in its goodness hits back. And behind the projector, as we have come to stillness in our meditation, who is life? I am life. So it's my truth in me, your true nature in you, bringing you true, smashing your illusions, smashing your dreams and your hopes of tomorrow, smashing, 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 waking you up to the immediacy of your true nature now. Always now. No issue. No problem. Nothing arising. Seeing myself for what it is, seeing myself for what it can't accept, seeing myself for the consternations it is causing, not only in my life, but reflecting outwards into other lives around me. Just seeing it by looking, without moving, without judgment. So I am caught in the web, I am the web myself. All one does is looks, to look and to see. Don't move on it, don't judge it, don't tell yourself, oh, I shouldn't have done that, or I should have done something else. Just see it by looking. And you can only look from stillness. The mind cannot look, because the mind looks through its conditioning. It looks through its own problems it's created. So the mind never sees clearly. But in the stillness of your true nature, just looking, stay looking. Don't move on it, stay looking. The body might shudder. You might feel yourself smashing inside. Just stay looking. Stay looking at your life exactly as it is. Without measurement, without expectation, without attachment. Just stay looking. Exactly as it is. Don't allow the mind to move on it. But the mind is only taking you further into the web. Just stay looking. And in that looking alone, everything falls away in its space and time. Everything passes. Everything. Nothing stays. Old things pass away. But your true nature, what you are behind the projector, that's your ground. All things pass away. The greatest love in your life is not going to stay. Man, woman, spouse, child cannot stay. It's only a passing projection. The greatest anguish in your life, it's only a passing projection. Seeing it exactly as it is, without movement, without judgment, just seeing it exactly as it is. then circumstances evolve of their own accord, where all these disturbances dissolve in space and time, according to their nature, and know that it's all right now. So old things must fall away. And then whatever you have in abundance. Behind the projector, knowing you are life. You are truth. If you are life and truth, you're all of it behind the projector. This is your ground, you're coming home. And this is the meditation we do here each night. Any questions? Observations? Just this love that you are, not loving anyone or anything. Just the love that you are. Just it. Just it. Sees you true. Then you do your duty in freedom without attachment. You love without attachment. You are being responsible for life in that body, where life is. This is nothing to be remembered. It's not memory. True nature is always now. So you don't have to remember it. You don't have to take notes. It's your immediacy, your truth now. Memory is past. It's the world. The memory works rightly out there in the world when you remember your home, you remember your job, you remember what you must do, you remember your obligations. That is memory just working rightly in the projected world. But this psychological world that we carry within us, with our pains, our hurts, our anguishes, our expectations, our pseudo-truths, our denials, this is the weight, the baggage, keeps us from the immediacy of now. When we see it, it falls away. I could say to you to let all of it go. You'd have to remember that. So it's a pseudo-truth, it's not the real truth. But seeing it, just looking at it, seeing it exactly as it is, then it falls away of its own accord. You don't have to remember. You don't have to put things back together. Now you're free to love, to be love, to be life, to be the truth that you truly are.